Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Slurred Words. My name's Josh.
And my name is Matt.
And this is our first episode. It's fucking cold outside.
Yeah, we're the dumbasses decided to do this outside. Don't forget.
Yeah, we're sitting around a fire that's more so a smoke pit.
Damn,
right
I didn't
now.
realize that.
Yeah,
We've been talking for so long, and I didn't realize the fire is no longer there.
We're not recording what we're talking either. We're like,
Yeah.
yo, we should record that. And
Yeah.
it's like, no. And the whole time, the fire that's supposed to keep us warm is failing miserably. So, we'd like to thank everybody who decided to listen. If you listen all the way through, that's even better. So, right now, it is October 28th. And
We figured, since it's so close to Halloween, we'd start
one
off
of the one of the submitted topics was
from Sahara.
yeah.
Josh has so much problem with her name for some reason.
I'm sorry, Miss Shara.
Yeah, her name is Shara. She's a friend of mine from work before.
Yeah, and she asked it, and she said, we should do what's the best Halloween movie. It is 3 days before Halloween, and honestly, we kind of talked about this beforehand, and we both kind of determined that we don't really watch Halloween movies.
Yeah, I'd rather watch comedy myself, but I mean, there's good movies out there.
Well, I mean, you think about it. You said you like comedy, so we got Scary Movie.
Well, yeah. But
there's
I mean,
a shitty Halloween movie.
Yeah. I mean, going back into like when I was younger, I know growing up as a kid, every kid is afraid of the dark, or at least afraid of something. And
I was afraid of street sweepers. I shit you not.
If they had this movie called Street Sweeper, Josh would never watch it.
I had this fucking nightmare that I was in my bed, and I was actually basically right where you are in my backyard, and a street sweeper would come down the street, and it had this long fucking hose that sucked up people, and all of a sudden I wound up inside of a street. Hold on. I wound up inside of a street sweeper with fucking like 30 other people, and then I woke up. I was fucking horrified of street sweepers.
What age was this?
Oh, shit, I had to be like 8.
And what were you doing around that time of your life?
Probably drugs.
It seems that way.
I don't know, man. It's the same thing. Like, I was scared of a lot of dumb shit as a kid.
Oh, no, I mean, I could say I was afraid of the dark, and in certain times I still kind of am. Like, it's just that the one thing that it's one of those one things once you're afraid of, you can never get over.
Yeah, hold on now, because I do beg to differ, because I was afraid of spiders at one point, and a good friend of ours, she bought a tarantula, and I held it. Now, granted, I'm not terrified of spiders anymore, but at the same time, I don't go out of my way to be like, oh, look!
Well, I mean, what can I do to stop myself from being afraid of the dark? Like, you grabbed the spider, you held it in your hands.
Grab the dark, hold it in your hands.
Am I supposed to just go into a dark room, one of my main fears, and try to, like, conquer it in pitch black?
I guess, man. Fucking go into your fears balls long.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would say if I got to pick one of my favorite horror / well, I mean, are we doing horror or are we going to do Halloween movies?
It's Halloween, so we have to do Halloween movies. I almost said it was Christmas, but it is Halloween. We're a long way away from
almost
Christmas.
there. Hey, my work just started putting Christmas decorations
No,
up.
you're right. I did too.
Don't know why.
It's beginning.
It's not even November. It's not even Thanksgiving.
Like I said, man, I love that one, the Frank Sinatra, was it Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, but the rendition. It's beginning to look a lot like fuck this. Everywhere you go.
Yeah. That's right now. I mean,
it's not even November, man.
That's what I'm saying. There's not even turkey time yet, and we already got freaking Santa Claus shit up.
Right.
Okay, back on subject. Yeah, we both realized we were going too far right now.
That's a lot.
First, number one. I mean, the movie I was afraid of the most when I was a little kid, because I'm pretty sure my parents fucked me up with it. I'd make me watch it when I was like, I don't know, 5.
As we got fucking coyotes howling in the background.
Yeah, if you could hear that was pretty cool. But Leprechaun.
Really?
Leprechaun and Child's Play. Those
Child's Play, yes. I was terrified of Chucky.
Yeah.
And you ask any of my sisters, and they're really getting it.
Yeah, they're mating
Holy
over
shit.
there. Maybe if you guys can hear that, yeah.
I don't think it's coming up on the audio.
No, I don't see that. I don't see that.
If you do hear that, there's a pack of coyotes over in the field doing something.
Yeah.
They're being coyotes.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, if you were to ask either one of my sisters, they would tell you that I was fucking horrified of Chucky. Like, the Spencer Chucky dolls that they had.
Yeah.
we would go into Spencer's, and how they always had them in the back. Like, I would stay up by, like, the belts and wallets. And
see, with the dark, you can't do that. The dark is everywhere.
Yeah, you stay up by the belts and wallets, and it's still fucking dark.
You can't hide from the dark.
Why did you tint your windows then?
Oh, I mean, that's different. I mean, I'm saying, like, at night, when it's quiet in the house, and I hear the creaks and cracks and moans.
No, that's just Romeo.
All the moans and groans of your house.
That's just Romeoville failing. That's probably the refinery, like, thumping along on something in your house, like, But no, like I said, you know, Chucky did scare the shit out of me. Mm. And, you know, even now it's like, you know, you see the comedy. I never thought it was a comedy when I was younger. It was just like, oh my god, there's a killer doll. I'm afraid of my G.I. Joes now.
Not only a killer doll, but the killer doll that was a serial killer, that's blood got dripped into the plastic mold. Let's just think of that for a second. What crazy juju, obviously all horror movies besides, like, well, really besides, like, Jason, or Land Before, or...
Were you going to say Land Before Time?
Yeah, Land Before Time. No, like, the whole Jason movies, and then the whole, like, Michael Myers movies, like, the actual, like, serial killers.
Right.
Those are the only two movies that I immediately think that can be truthful, that could really happen. Like, but, like, Freddy Krueger, you fall asleep, he's in your dreams, no.
Right, like, that goes along the line with your fear of the dark.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't help me in the least. Well, you know, I recently watched Dead Silence. Mm-hmm. And that movie, I fucking hate dolls. I absolutely loathe everything about dolls. They creep me out with their blank expression and their... I don't know.
Their ability to look into my soul.
Right. And it's just like, well, that movie was actually pretty cool.
10 years later?
No, I'm talking the new one.
Oh, okay.
Dead Silence.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about a different movie.
No, but, once again, just because I hate dolls, and it's one of those things. I mean, it hits close to the heart because it's like, oh, well, these things are fucking creepy. Let's make a movie about them, and I get that. You know, it's like I'm afraid of the dentist. Yeah. And that's why I hate the movie Teeth. Nothing scares me more than
Nothing scares me more than a vagina that will bite your penis out.
Yeah, that to me is pretty terrifying. But, you know, it was a good movie. You know, it had a nice plot twist at the end, you know, with the stepmom or whatever she was to the dude, being that nutso bitch who came around and like, oh, well, I turned your dad into a puppet. Ha ha ha, joke's on you. Ha ha, you're going to be a puppet. And just like, that's one of those things. I mean, like I said, it hits close to the heart. It's just like, yeah, you know, that's a childhood fear. Just because, you know, my mom had dolls, my grandma used to make, you know, sew shit for dolls. And, why are you pointing?
Bathroom.
Oh.
If anybody knows me, I have a bathroom problem. So, I don't know if we should pause, or you could just talk to yourself for about 5 minutes.
Here's what we're going to do. That was a minor hiccup in our lovely engineering skills. Neither of us are, well, at least I'm not technologically savvy, but that's beside the point. But no, we were on the topic of dolls, and my grandma being able to make all the dresses. You know, she would knit everything together.
Right.
And this is a woman who, it was explained to me that when she knitted, now you know, in her later years, she would knit at like the speed of sound. And so that's how it was explained to me.
And eating
right,
with
like, you know, there was a story that my mom told me that my uncle wanted to go outside. It was in the winter, and he didn't have a hat. My grandma kept giving him shit, you know, you don't have a hat, you're not going outside. And she started knitting, and she said it sounded like, you know, she was just playing the drum, like, and going to town.
You don't have a hat?
Like,
Here's
she's
one.
like, no, she's like, go look for a hat. And he's like, fine. Goes and looks for a hat, and he's like, I can't find one. Look harder. And, you know, by like the third time he came back, she throws him a hat and like, go outside. At least that's how that was told to me. I don't know if that's how it happened. I'm sure he's going to listen to this and be like, well, that's not really how it happened. Let me explain.
We'll have the comments.
But yeah, like
just read the comments from this thing. Right. And you'll see what happened.
But, you know, she would knit these dresses for the dolls. And she had all these dolls, and there was one in particular that my mom has. And it's in her office, and it just creeps the shit out of me. Even to this day, like, I walk past, and it's like...
It just feels... You can just feel your soul...
Right.
Clenching.
It's so scary.
I never had anything I was afraid of, truthfully, besides, like, the dark. A lot of people are afraid of clowns. Clowns don't bother me.
Chlorophobia is something if that is the technical term, chlorophobia.
I think I'd be more afraid of chloroform.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm afraid of getting
Does this rag smell like chloroform to you? Why, yes, it...
Yeah. Or like that one, the nap time.
Yeah, right.
This is nap time. Looks at it, reading it. This is chloroform.
You keep her in a box.
Yeah. She hasn't said anything in a week.
But no, I mean that. Chlorophobia being a real thing. I was in a haunted house and worked there for a season, and a lot of people were afraid of clowns. And I don't know why people are.
Clowns are supposed to be happy.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they could be creepy as hell, too.
Yeah, I mean, you have It, which was a horror movie.
John Wayne Gacy, who killed people.
And I got on the topic of that today with a buddy of mine, and we were kind of confused. We were working on a car, and I smacked my head off the frame, and I got my serial killers mixed up and said, who was it? Who's the other serial killer?
Hopefully you didn't Lorena Bobbitt it.
I should hope not. Which head?
Which head are you talking about?
But I got my
Jeffrey
serial...
Dahmer?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you fucking idiot. That's Gacy. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. But I get where people are afraid of clowns, but at the same time, that's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the dentist. I'm afraid of bad mayonnaise.
I'm afraid of real things.
Yeah, right? I'm afraid of bad mayonnaise and Mondays.
Yeah.
But to me, fears, yeah, I mean, they can be... Now, granted, I'm a big guy. I stand 6'2", 240, 250, 260. Let's just say 260.
Yeah. Let's just.
I'm a fat guy.
We'll make your imagination run wild. Right?
Yeah, right. I'm a slim man. I enjoy long walks on the beach. I'm roughly 200 pounds of solid cut muscle.
If you realize, our Facebook pages are linked to this. So we could easily just go to your Facebook page and see everything. I'm
a 200-pound cut man.
Let's retort that answer.
Pecs that were chiseled by angels.
Oh, he's going even farther.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy sushi and cupcakes.
Well, at least two things about that was true.
I enjoy food.
The food part, yeah.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy food. Bulimic people?
Oh, well, no, they enjoy food. They just don't like keeping it in.
That's bogus.
Yeah. Again.
We're going to hell.
Yeah.
Express train.
Yeah, this is what happens.
As I'm sitting next to tomatoes and strawberries that are being grown in my driveway. And to somebody who's not looking at that, they're like, how the fuck?
Were you here the day that the whole train of flowers came?
Yeah.
You were at work, but...
No, but I went into the garage, and it was like, what the hell? The Jungle Book just exploded.
I'm sitting out here, I don't even know what I was doing. I don't even think I was sitting out here.
I couldn't determine.
Yeah, now I think about it.
I wasn't even here.
I think I was walking over here.
I saw a picture.
And I see your sister and your mom pull up, and I see a bunch of flowers. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of flowers. And then I go and see in the back of the bed of the truck. I said, holy crap, that's a lot of flowers. Mm-hmm. And then we get all the flowers. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back across, whatnot. I'm like, oh, no, you're not done yet. I was like, what?
Oh, no, you're not done yet.
Yeah. Like, no, there's still some in the car over here. I'm like, really? Jeez. Would you, spend $1,000 on stuff?
No, we got it for free.
It was all free. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It was all free over here. I'm like...
But back to fears. Back to fears, what we were talking about. And I don't know if we left off on chloroformophobia or...
The fear of being stuffed in a bag.
That's the thing. We were playing at work. We just got bored. We had nothing to do. And we were like, well, we started playing Would You Rather. Now, one of the good questions was, would you rather be burned alive or buried alive?
Oh, yeah. Is there a neither button?
No.
Damn. I mean, to be honest, those are both of my two worst fears of dying. So, you kind of stuck me in a corner here. Oh, actually, no. Drowning is my number one worst fear, because I almost drowned once. And it was my own dumbass fault. But, I mean, knowing that...
I I can see you drowning.
Thanks!
I don't know why. It's just like, I can see you just kind of hitting the bottom going, fuck!
That's pretty much what my mind went through. Like, I was at school, and I went to school in Oklahoma, and there's this big, like, lake.
So you were in college?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like when I was young. I was like 19.
Oh, I thought like these were childhood.
No, I was like 19. No, I used to love the water. I used to go in the water time at the camper. At my camper, I used to go like do all this stuff, and now I'm very like standoffish about it unless I have a life jacket on. Just because of that, since that one time. But I was out in the lake. It was basically the Mississippi River that turned into a lake. Like it branched into this area. And we were out there swimming, and to my eyes, there's a buoy out there, and to me, 400 feet, maybe.
That's a long fucking way.
When I got out there, it was more like 400 yards. Like, I was out there.
And my judging distance just sucks.
And I realized that I could no longer be a sniper scout. So, and that's running through my mind. I'm like...
all my dreams of killing people from range is gone.
Yeah, I'm like, I know that I'm never going to be a sniper scout now. And, again, never went through my mind until that time for some reason.
About drowning or the fact that...
That I couldn't be a sniper scout anymore because my range is so horrible.
It was like 4 feet, I swear to God.
So I'm out there, and the buoy is slippery as shit. It's got algae all over. There's nowhere to stand. There's nowhere to hold. So I'm just, like, sitting there treading water, like, on my back. Again, no life jacket on. Nothing, but the reason why we're doing it, we're trying to see if we race and go back to the buoy and come back fastest.
I'm too big for that shit.
Well, I wasn't that big. I mean, I was, I wouldn't say my prime, but my closest to my prime of being fit-ish. I mean, nowhere near where I'm at now. I'm definitely a good 40 pounds heavier than I was when I was 19.
Isn't beer a wonderful thing?
It's a great thing. But, I mean...
Beer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. The reason why this show started.
Right.
But, I mean, when I got out there, I'm just sitting there huffing and puffing like no other. And I'm like, I can't tread water anymore, so I'm just going to try to slowly backstroke it to there. And I get about 10 feet and start thinking to myself, I'm going to die. Like, legit, I'm dead. This is how I'm going to die. Why would I do this? What am I going to say to, like, God when I see him? like, what are my parents going to think?
I was a dumbass.
Yeah, like...
Please let me in.
Like, what is it... Like, what can possibly become of this? And why did I do this? And I luckily got to a point where I was just kind of kicking for about 5 seconds and then being able to stay afloat and then finding my footing and slowly walking in and laying on the beach for a good 10 minutes contemplating my life values, my life morals.
I want to write a book.
Yeah, like realizing that
I'm going to church.
That was it. I was almost dead.
Well, that was the same thing. I went to Lake Michigan with a group of friends and another good friend of ours. Him and I, it was Anthony. We decided, hey, let's swim out. And, I was like, well, okay, let's go. And we swam out, and then we came back, and it was far. I mean, once you can't touch the bottom, you're like, yeah, I can die now.
Yeah.
Like, a shark's going to come and eat me.
My life was about 2 inches below me, and now I have no idea.
Exactly. I mean, I was content with bobbing and being able to have myself tiptoe and bounce back up with all the waves of the assholes in the boats that were like, oh, we're going to fuck your day up. And then I decided, once again, I saw the buoy, and, once you're in the water, looking from the beach at the water, and you're like, wow, that really isn't that far. And then you realize how out of shape you really are, and you're like, these guys that do triathlons and swim across, the Atlantic are fucking nuts.
They're fucking bionics. I swear.
Yeah, and I swam out, and, I hit a point, and I was just like, the panic set it, and I'm like, okay.
That's the worst part about it.
Right, is when you panic, and you're like, oh, crap,
That's where I got screwed. I panicked.
Right. And we just sound like pussies.
Yeah. I mean, if you face death, no matter what it is.
Right.
It could be a car crash, it could be like a freak accident with with a gun or something like that, or getting robbed or something like that. I'm like, what does that make you a pussy? I got robbed and almost got killed. I was in the water and almost drowned. I mean, when
you put it that way, it sounds like, you were in your bathtub, and you just, like, kind of submerged yourself like, this is the end.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, once I hit the buoys, you know, well, I was still a good 50 feet from the buoys, and there was this one kid, he had to be, you know, 3-4 years younger than me, and he's just still trucking along, and I'm kind of sitting there in my mind like, you're an ass. You know, I'm over here, and I actually read something that was pretty interesting, and it made sense once I read it, you know, after nearly drowning, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that...
This is a time where I think I should start reading things.
Right. It was something that, you know, lifeguards, they do have a hard job because, you know, the signs of drowning aren't like what you see in the movies. People like, oh, you know, doing the YMCA and interpretive dance with their arms, like, hey, come get me. It's not that easy.
And by the time you think, is that person drowning? They're probably...
Yeah, they're underwater being drug away by a Mako or, you know, and that was the thing, is that when, you know, we were just floating along, it was Anthony and I, we were just floating along and we got caught in a riptide. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's one of those...
That's the easiest. Right. The easiest and worst way that you can get caught and drowned.
Right. And we were just kind of sitting there talking and we were like, wow, that buoy's getting awfully close. And then we look back and like, wow, the beach got really far away. I think we should swim that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, I read that lifeguards, they do. They have a difficult job because...
I mean, imagine you trying to swim back and you're all gassed out, but then you have somebody else on your back that you're pulling in, too.
Right.
Again, yes, you have little life preserver type thingy, like that holds them up. And you...
Right, I'm ditching you if I start going under, man. Sorry, I'll tell the press I did my best.
I was here to help you, but, I mean, I'm done.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
That's why, like, all the guys that sit alongside of the pool, like, wow, you know, that's a nice bikini. They get all the credit. It's like, no, you go to, like, Australia, and they're like, no.
My chances of living are just as much as yours because there's a lot of things out there that can kill me.
Exactly.
Just as quickly as they can kill you.
Size of a quarter, little jellyfish comes by and, you know, zaps your foot, and you're like, ha!
Yeah.
But
it felt weird. And
and it is. It's a legitimate fear, and you never answer my question. Would you rather be buried alive or burned alive?
I was trying to bring it up, topic up so that I wouldn't have to answer that.
I'm not
question.
that dumb.
It took you 10 minutes.
Yeah, give or take.
I think, I mean, burning alive would be obviously quicker.
Yeah.
But burying alive would be obviously less painful. So that's I'm assuming that's where the
I don't know, I've never been either.
I mean, I'm assuming that's where the hard part of taking sides is.
Right.
Either you go faster and fucking hurt like hell, or you go longer and you just
suffocate.
I think, and you also got to think about it, when you're like, quote unquote, buried alive. You're not just buried alive. You're buried alive with no food. Not just no air, no food.
Right, but you run out of air before.
You're going to piss yourself. You're probably going to defecate yourself. I mean,
right.
You're going to have to sit in your own crap for however long it is you stay alive for. I mean, I'd rather just get it over with. I would rather get burned alive.
You go burned alive.
I go for burned alive.
And that's, you know, a lot of people are like, well, if you've ever been burned and, you know, you don't feel it after a while, it's like, fuck you.
If everything's getting burned, you feel it.
Exactly. But once again, it is quicker, and now that, you know, the world knows is if the mob ever has a preference, both of us would rather be burned alive.
Yes. If we do something or see something.
Right.
Just come back to this and...
Just if we're tied up to a chair, gagged, and you're like, did you record this one?
Remember this statement.
Yeah.
And we've also gone on way far off topic of scary movies. I mean, not actually too far, because we were talking about horrors and about fears. But, I mean, we were supposed to be talking about Halloween movies. And we're talking about drowning. Which is a pretty scary thing to be for a Halloween movie.
Like I said, man, this is proof that ADD is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's the point of this show. Is to just...
We're not structured. If you're looking for structure, just at 20-some-odd minutes that you've been listening, just turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for like us to talk about stuff,
we're the fast path of watching YouTube videos and deviling way too far into the internet.
Yeah,
we just get it over with quicker, and you just have to listen.
And
to
again,
it.
if anybody out there has ADD, you'll understand our problems.
Yeah. I've never.
No,
that was the thing.
ADD is not a real thing.
I was never. I actually thought I had ADD when I was younger, and they were like, "No, you don't have ADD. In fact, you're way too wise beyond your years." And I'm like, "Well, do I have ADD still?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Damn." I was just looking for like that sympathy card.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he has ADD. He's just a little dumb.
Yeah.
It's like, no, now I actually have to.
Like, no, he has a learning disability. ADD? No, he's just kind of slow.
He's just dumb.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
He can't read good.
I learned to read.
My words don't come out right.
Yeah. I hate the bottom of beer.
Well, it's all your spit and checking up stuff.
Thanks, as I just slugged that down and it was just flat.
Just to let you know.
Yeah. But no, good Halloween movies.
Honestly, the scariest one I've ever seen when I was a kid and still believe is Leprechaun. Like,
Yeah.
like Chucky, I got over that. Leprechaun, I mean, obviously there's no such thing as a foreign leprechaun, but there's no such thing as Bigfoot, but I don't see why there couldn't be. But I mean, I can't see there being this crazy killer leprechaun out there.
I do. I love to quote the late, great Mitch Hedberg, is that Bigfoot is blurry. It is not the photographer's fault, which is extra scary to me because there is a large, out-of-focus monster.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, the horror movies, I mean, are we talking, like you said, horror movies or just Halloween?
That's what I said. Like, you got all these horror movies. You got the Jason movies. You got the Freddy Krueger movies.
But those are almost
Michael
strictly
Myers.
Halloween.
Yeah,
I'm
Michael
talking,
Myers, obviously, Halloween.
Right, but I'm talking, like...
I think Phantasm. Like, that's not a Halloween movie. That's a fucked up movie with, like...
Right.
Like, crazy-ass people and...
Or the Crazies.
Or, yeah. Or, like,
House of a Thousand Dead Corpses.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Or Devil's Rejects. Like, horror movies.
You can't go wrong with Captain Spaulding.
Yeah. Definitely the coolest... Not... I don't think he's creepy.
No, I think he's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, he's... Like,
we have official clown business. Oh, official clown. Did I stood a bitch?
I think Captain Spaulding is probably one of the non-creepiest ones, even though he does look pretty damn creepy.
It looks like I think Rob Zombie did do a good job making...
Rob Zombie, I'm on top of Rob Zombie. Halloween, what do you think he did with those movies? You think he did a good job?
I actually...
I've seen them. I've seen them.
I liked them.
I'll say that. I like Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
I've seen.
I mean,
I've read his books. The Witches of Salem is supposed to.
I never read the books.
Yeah, that's supposed to be coming. That's supposed to be a movie coming out, and that was a fucking crazy ass book. I can't imagine how the movie's gonna be. Or Lords of Salem. That's it.
Oh, Lords of Salem.
That's the movie.
Okay. I did like the new Halloween. 1 or 2. I only saw the first one.
Okay.
I never saw the second one.
He did both. He did 2 different ones.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I keep more so on my comedies.
Don't quote me, because I could be wrong. And now I sound like an idiot. Again, I'm not a Halloween specialist.
No, I mean, I like Halloween. I liked it when I was a kid. And we just got an update. Thank you.
From the peanut gallery over here.
The Hills Have Eyes. Never saw it.
Never saw it either.
I do regret. I heard it was a good movie. No. And didn't that borderline...
Video game. I've seen the video game.
They have a video game for it?
It was originally a video game.
No shit.
Yeah. Oh. The Hills Have Eyes was a video game. And then...
I think Quake would make a hell of a movie then.
Well, they made Doom. Well, The Rock was in it. I mean, no offense to The Rock, but he was a good... I mean... It's one of those movies that maybe I didn't want to see because I didn't want to be fucked up about it.
Right. Or like when we were younger. I'm sure you saw signs when you were younger.
Yeah. Actually, only parts of it, to be honest.
Really?
I think the reason why is because I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to be fucked up.
Go to bed that night like the aliens are touching my feet.
I have a problem with watching Ghost. I have a problem with watching Ghost Adventures sometimes.
Right. Those of you who don't know, our lovely co-host and more so great friend Matt over here, he dates my sister. And I will let you in on a little piece of info that since she's not here and she's going to listen to this, and she's probably going to be like, you're a fucking asshole, she was horrified of signs.
She's told me about the signs.
Okay,
movies, yeah.
then,
I mean, not fully, but I mean...
Did she tell you that she was afraid to hang her feet over the couch?
Probably.
Yeah, again, ADD.
I mean, no, I'm not saying I don't listen to her. I'm saying, like... I forget.
Covers.
Yeah, right. I love you. No, I mean, there's times where my mind just doesn't listen. Doesn't mean I'm not listening. Yeah, my mind decides not to. But no, I mean, she's probably said something about it, and I, again, probably just forgot. But I'm sure it's one of those things you don't want to talk about because you don't want to remember that shit.
Right. And it was I forget what part, but it was my two sisters and myself, and we were all sitting watching Signs, and I was younger, so at the time it was just like, oh! And still to this day, I think it was a stupid fucking movie.
Yeah.
That movie was not impressive.
I've only seen parts. I mean,
you see the alien or the monster for all but 10 seconds.
That movie reminds me of The Mist. I don't know if you remember the movie.
You know what? I never wanted to watch that because it just seemed that stupid.
I mean, the build-up, not bad. The plot, pretty cool. You're stuck in this building with shit around you. You have no idea what the hell it is. And,
right.
But the monster, dumb as hell. And then that movie ends. I mean, you have no... You have all this lead up. And... what was that movie? Shit. It was something about how, aliens came down and...
Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind?
No, it was a newer movie. It was 2 or 3 years ago. It was something blue or something... Shit, I don't remember what it's called. But it was...
Was it the one that had, the real footage of aliens, quote unquote?
Yeah, with the big monster that was supposed to come in and, it was, it's right into my tongue.
Cloverfield?
Cloverfield. Yeah, Cloverfield. That's
and I wanted to say something about it while you were talking.
Yeah, Cloverfield.
Cloverfield, in my opinion, I did like Cloverfield.
It was a cool
It was a very cool movie.
It was Blair Witch-esque.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Quarantine, even.
Yeah.
How it was very, the first-person view of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what kind of makes you feel like...
You're a part of it?
You're a part of it, yeah.
I'm the fucking cameraman!
Obviously, that's the point of it. But
right, but at the end of quarantine, you're like, shit, I died.
Right.
But, once again, that's one of those movies that, in my opinion, Cloverfield was a good movie. Not a great movie, but a good movie. Because it was that Blair Witch-esque style of filming, where it was just very, involved.
The first one since...
Right, I mean, that's one of those movies you don't get heavily intoxicated and go watch, because you'll probably throw up for motion sickness. There is a lot of running involved, and if I was the cameraman, fuck you, I just accept my fate.
It kind of makes you feel like you're part of a video game, too. Video games nowadays, they really try to make you one with the game. They try to pull you into the game. It's not just...
Right, very... what's the word I'm trying to go for here? Very immersive.
Yeah.
You want to be immersed in a movie, you want to be immersed in a game. You want to become a part of the story to get away from your everyday shitty life.
That's why all these also video games are making everything personal. You could personalize so much.
Right, the role playing games.
Yeah, you could personalize so much stuff to make you feel like this is you.
Right.
This is obviously not you.
Obviously, I can't throw fire out of my hands.
Yeah,
and
but
cast,
if I was in the 1400s and was a magical demon or magical warlock or something like that, I would think this would be pretty much the closest to what I would be.
I would be a badass. I would be an overweight badass.
I mean, probably back those days, not too many overweight people, I would think.
No, I was actually talking to one of my coworkers, and how I'm talking. I want to go hunting this season and bag a turkey for Thanksgiving, and be that classic hill rod who's, I got us a turkey. We're going to deep fry it. But he's like, yeah, have you ever shot an English longbow? And I'm like, no, I can say I never have. And he goes, yeah, it's like a...
Am I from the 1400s?
No, he was telling me, the draw weight on those and how hard it was to pull back. And it's just like, they'd get these things all the way back here and, you'd have to shoot it through plate armor, French plate armor, things like that. And I mean, nowadays we have that luxury of... you have all these guys that are in the military with Xbox controllers flying drones, and they're like, now we're going to fuck your day up.
Yeah.
We don't have to see it. And I'll say it, for the first episode, and you'll probably hear me say it several times again, I am a large military activist. I do appreciate our armed forces more than they know.
Well, I mean, everybody should.
Yeah, and I agree. I stand by the philosophy, if you can't stand behind our military, feel free to stand in front of them. Just for the simple fact that they do. They lay down their lives, I apologize.
For our lives.
For our lives, for our freedom. So, once again, anybody who is in the armed forces, we do send our biggest thanks. From both of us. I'm sure I can speak on his behalf on that one too.
Yeah, I have family that's been in World War II, been in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all vets, and like my grandpa, my great uncle, he was in Vietnam. My grandpa was in World War II. I mean, I don't know how much I haven't talked too much about it. I'm really not the one to ask about stuff like
right.
that. Like, some people like to talk about it, some people don't. So I don't know how much of the extent of what they had in, but I'm pretty sure, no matter what, you've seen some shit.
Right. And
if you're in war, you've seen some shit.
To me, it doesn't matter if you were, frontline infantry or a fry cook, is that you contributed one way or another. Yeah. I mean, if you're a fry cook and you made a bomb-ass meal with Cheetos and something else, some filet. Yeah, man.
I mean, in World War II, I don't think there was Cheetos.
Fuck it. We're going to go with, if there was Cheetos in World War II, that is horrible.
Yeah.
I'm saying, if you made a good meal and you made somebody's day, you contributed because one way or another that helped.
You helped them. You made them happy, which made them think.
Morale boosters.
I guess, yeah.
And that, back when...
Every part counts.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is a giant working machine. So, once again, thank you to our armed forces. That is, part of the reason why we're still here and not under a Nazi rule.
Just part,
Yeah, entirely.
Not entirely, just part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not, like that one episode of Family Guy where Brian, stops 9/11 and, everything's changed. I can't remember.
I do, yeah. I know exactly
they
what
go back in time and
yeah.
Brian stops 9/11 and they come back and talk about how he gives a speech.
Right.
About how he, stopped 9/11 and everything's totally different. Like, Obama was never president. And,
right.
Like, they say people say that Obama became president because of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's another topic.
Yeah, that's another topic. So, I mean.
I'm not going to indulge myself on that one. But, going back to the whole horror movie thing, is that, we said at the beginning, horror movies were never really my deal. I have a good friend of mine, he's big into horror movies.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people that love horror movies.
Well, I mean, this kid fucking lives for him. And, we sat down and watched Trick or Treat once, and that movie was just weird, man. Mm-hmm. Just something about, bagging kids for Halloween and whatnot. I don't really
To be honest, if I would ever to be watching a Halloween/horror movie, I go back into the old days and watch Wolfman and Dracula and...
I did see,
stuff like that. That stuff interests me because that was when, acting was in its golden age, I think. When it was, I wouldn't say the best acting, but that's when people were genuine. That's when they were just acting for the movie. They weren't acting to be funny. They weren't acting to be, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but, I mean, it just feels like the movies back in the day were so much better just because people wanted to be in movies.
And
they wanted to do this, not for the money.
It was partly for the money. I mean,
yeah.
Why do we really do anything? Why do we work 9 to 5s? For the money.
Yeah. Well, some people do it for the joy.
Right. I mean,
to make
imagine the amount of tail you get, hey, I was in this movie.
Yeah. That's exactly my point, too.
Yeah, we do it just... And that is, every man can relate. I don't have to expound any more on that. We do it for the women. But, no, to me, horror movies never did tickle my fancy. I've watched a lot of them. Offhand, that was one of the topics that was suggested that we talk about, that it just kind of popped up, and I was like, fuck, I really don't watch horror movies. And I was just hoping you had something up your sleeve, fucking 3 doves that pop out and this movie!
Yeah, no.
But it never works like that.
But, I mean, it's almost Halloween. I mean, it was a good idea to talk about it because, honestly, we were discussing before we started recording how we have
nothing to talk about.
I mean, we have ideas, but, I mean, we just have to get something going.
Right. And
we just finally said, fuck it, we'll do this. Because
right. I mean, we said we would, and that's what we're going to do. And on to our next topic, mood swings.
With who, though? Are we trying to
there was a lot of suggestions before and after that involved women.
I mean, there's been some stuff out there.
And Matt's going to dig himself a hole.
I mean, This was that one subject I wish wouldn't have come up because I'm not trying to, like... I have opinions. I have things to say. But it's because... I don't even want to say anything. I mean, I don't want anybody to be offended by what I say. Being anybody that I know or my girlfriend. I mean...
We love you, Dana.
I could say stuff, but I mean, it's not because I believe it. So in this aspect...
Don't say it's just because it's your opinion, because you believe your opinion.
In this aspect, I'm probably just going to say stuff because I want it to be funny. But I mean...
The way I see mood swings is that both men and women have mood swings. Men have periods just as much as women do.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our days where we're like, fuck the world. It's just
women have more often.
Yeah, once a month. I mean, like
once a month, you're going to say once a month. It will happen once a month.
For sure.
Yeah.
That is a for sure thing.
Yeah. That's that. There's that mean, median, mode.
If any women that are listening wanted a men's opinion on women and their ovulation cycles, is that the right word?
I'm not a woman.
Fair enough.
Menstrual cycles? It was,
yes!
Yeah, well, wait. Oh, okay, hold on. You said ovulation cycles. Menstrual cycles and ovulation cycles are two different things. Oh, maybe
when
not.
women are having their period.
When women are having their period, that's the menstrual cycle. But
it
the
is,
ovulation cycle is when they're most likely to get pregnant.
Oddly enough, it was my sister who showed me the perfect picture, and it was of a woman laying under a blanket crying, and just face up. And just,
blue tears.
Yeah, blue tears around her, and then it cut halfway down, and it was just red all the way down to her feet. And it's like, that is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know there's a lot of women out there who they aren't, as men say, raggy, that don't get pissed off. But there are also a lot of, that's where the stigma comes from, is that there are a lot of women.
And as a guy, you have to either deal with it.
Or bring chocolate.
Or deal with it, or do whatever you can.
Bring chocolate and soup, and I'm just sounding like an asshole now. Watch movies and cuddle,
you have
and
to be like,
make sure you don't get your head bitten off.
You have to be awesome boyfriend when it's that time.
Right. You have to be supportive.
The rest of the three weeks, you could be a dick. No, I'm joking. I mean, I'm not trying to say that. I mean, it's proven, obviously. It happens.
What, that chocolate helps?
Mainly the whole...
It helps me. I'm a big guy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it helps everybody. Chocolate's a great thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's obviously that women have menstrual cycles, and they get angry. And, to be honest, what do you think... I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's an obviously medical explanation, if that's estrogen and all this bullshit, but why do they get mad?
Why do they gear it toward men?
Why do they get moody?
Like, are men just the Antichrist?
Well, I mean, there's nothing else to be mad at. Like, if you have a puppy, you're not going to freak out on it. And if you're going to have something
I don't know, man. If that puppy gets in your way and you're having just a bad day, and obviously, you're having a rag and you just, puppy's in my way, and freak out on the dog, yeah, we kind of get where you're coming from. Just because we've had dogs get in our way, too. It is a vicious cycle. We do understand, and don't think we're not supportive. We're just trying right now for these past couple seconds of talking to cover our ass.
Or like, I can't remember who exactly said it, but the one quote that I could never understand women. I don't try to understand women because women understand women and they hate each other.
Right.
Like,
which is the same thing, and this can go several different ways. This can go toward the homosexual transgender community where they're, women understand women and there's women on women love, and you know what? I'm all for it. I'm for, homosexuality. If a man and a man want to be together, more power to them.
I mean, whenever, if you care and love someone,
right? You can't be hated for the way you love.
You do you, boo boo.
Exactly.
What we like to say.
Exactly. And then you have the people that are like, oh well, women understand women and they hate each other, and you have these guys that are like, yeah, men understand men, and well, you can't really say we hate each other because we all get along.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, there's always that one asshole, and if you don't know who it is, it's been said before, it's probably you.
Yeah, if you have in your group of friends and you don't know who the asshole is, it's probably you.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I'm the asshole.
Yeah. Everybody doesn't like me.
Everyone hates me. It's always raining in my mind.
But I mean, I don't know. It's mood swings and stuff like that. I don't have too much problem with mood swings because I've gone through years of what they call psychotherapy.
Anger management. I flunked out of anger management.
I definitely sent a few kids to college with my therapy because I gave a lot of money. Well, I didn't. My mom did. I gave a lot of money to these psychiatrists. I mean, and nowadays, I'm fine. I was fine before. I was just as fucking
But see, with
crazy
women,
as...
it's something they can't control.
Yeah.
I mean, hormones...
So I'm saying, what is that thing? I mean, all the medical community out there, we're listening right now. What is it? What is the thing that makes girls go crazy? Is it, if you don't have an answer, then it's not real.
Post a comment, please, for the love of God. We are very interested in hearing your opinion.
I mean, it's...
Or your factual...
If you have your opinion, shut up. What we want to know is the real thing.
This entire show is just our opinion. Should we just shut up?
Yeah, we don't care about everybody else's opinion. We just want them to tell us what's real.
This is very biased.
Yeah. If you're listening to the show, shut up. Just listen.
You can't communicate with us right now. You're listening.
Yeah.
Tried to pull a Christopher Walken impression there. And
I need more cava. I have a fever.
You need more what?
I have a fever. And the only remedy is more cava.
God.
And done. I'm not good at impressions. I don't know why I tried that.
We need Anthony and the Bill Cosby.
Right.
But on to the next topic of wood. This was one that was recommended to...
I don't even know about wood.
We're burning it right now.
Yeah, it's the only thing. Like, wood.
Wood. Actually, you know what? There is a funny story. I went and I delivered something to a guy's house, and it was in a retirement community. And, you know, when he pulled up to buy this stuff, he's like, yeah, you know, I drive a Bentley. Walk outside, and there's a fucking Bentley in the parking lot. And it's like, wow, you know, you got money, okay. And then he turned out to be a bit of an ass.
Well, I mean, if you have a Bentley, I'm sure you didn't just get the money. Probably most time you need to be a dick to get to where you're at.
Look at politicians.
That's what I'm saying.
But, you know, he's like, you know, I walked up to his house and, you know, hi, you know, I'm here to, you know, drop this stuff off. And he's like, okay. And he opened up his garage, and sure as shit, there's a Bentley and there's Porsche memorabilia in his garage. And I'm sure I told you this.
I think I remember something about this.
Yeah, with the guy...
Back to the story about my girlfriend talking about stuff. See, I didn't remember anything about what he's saying right now, so don't think that I didn't listen to you, because I didn't listen to him either. Go on.
You know, I walked in, and he's like, well, do you want to see the rest of the house? And at this point, like, my stomach sinks into my shoes. Like, I kind of had that fight or flight response, like, I'm going to die. Like, he's going to drag me into this house, and he's going to have some sub-level basement. I mean, he's apparently got the money, but I walk into his house, and this mudroom, you know, just nice flooring. It was, you know, tile.
Heated floors.
I don't fucking know, man. I had shoes on. And I walked through his kitchen, and, man, it was darker than sin, but it was nice, you know, granite, gold inlay countertops and whatnot. And then I walked in, and it was a very open floor plan. And I walked into the living room, which, you know, you had, like, the 8-foot ceiling, and then once you hit the living room, it was the split level.
Yeah, like a...
Yeah, a vaulted ceiling.
Yeah.
And walked in, and it's just all this custom woodwork, and it's like, wow, you must have spent a lot of money. And, you know, we were walking into the backyard, and he's got a fucking putting range in his backyard. And a retirement, and he lives right off the golf course, which makes all the sense in the world to me. Excuse me. And...
There's no excuses.
There are no excuses for having that nice of wood. But all of it was, you know, Brazilian cherry and custom woodwork. And I'm sitting there like, wow, you must have a lot of money. And I neglected to ask him what he did for a living. I felt it'd be very rude of me. But I really want to know what he did for a living because he, you know, just, the man smelt of expensive liquor.
Because you know what expensive liquor smells like.
Hell yeah, dude, when you burp up some scotch.
No, well, I mean...
Glenn McKenna.
Who's name dropping now?
Yeah. We are representing Glenn McKenna. That's a bold-faced lie. I can't stand liquor.
I'm not a hard alcohol guy besides Jaeger, to be honest with me.
Jaeger, no. I've had Jaeger a couple times, and no.
I used to only drink Jaeger when I was younger.
How many blackout stories do you have? This can get interesting.
Well, I can go on a long blackout story right now, but I gotta pee. So, I think we should pause.
No, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna tell your blackout story.
We'll do a little pause, and then I'll come back with the blackout story.
No, you just tell the blackout story, and I just start expounding. Just start expounding on it now. You're not allowed to pee. Just tell the story.
I mean, I don't know if I want to be honest.
Just do it.
It was. I don't know. Fine. All right. Here we go. Shut up. I think, was it junior or senior? Yeah, it was junior. No. One of the proms. I went to junior and senior prom.
Oh. I never went to prom, and I'm kind of... Sorry.
I went to two, and you went to none.
Dude, I'm actually happy I never went to prom, because that seemed like a lot of fucking money.
I mean...
I had a...
It was like $200.
I can think of a lot of better things to do with $200 bucks.
But
like, get the smoke out of my ass. Continue. Yeah. Anyway, you went to prom. Congratulations.
Went to prom. Just prom. I mean, I'm not talking about the dance. The story is about the aftermath. The 1 year I had prom, we rented out his cabin. Well, it was more like a house. I don't know if I...
Now, this was off Jaeger?
Hey, this story will eventually get to why I don't drink Jaeger all the time anymore. We were... I think it was the second night we were up there. Again, I didn't drink much when I was a kid. Well, I didn't drink much when I was underage. But, we were all having a good old time at the house. And I finished a 750 of Jaeger and about 7 beers before 12 o'clock.
So you were off to a good night.
I don't...
12 a.m. or 12 p.m.?
12 a.m.
Okay.
We started drinking... I'm not... It's almost 10 years... Over 10 years ago. We'll just say that.
Okay.
Over 10 years ago. I can't remember the full details. But we'll just say it was around like 7 or 8 o'clock we started drinking. And by the time it was 12 o'clock, I was... If anybody else drinks Jaeger and knows what Jaeger does, you drink so much of it, things start going numb. Like your fingers and your toes and your lips.
What's that? Red Bull gives you wing and Jaeger gives you 4x4?
Yeah. I mean, once you start drinking a lot of it, you lose feelings. Not bad way. It's just you get drunk and then that's just the aftermath of drinking Jaeger. But I drank a lot of Jaeger and pretty good amount of beer. So I'm feeling like shit. So I go upstairs.
Oh, but you said it wasn't a bad feeling.
After the beer, it was. I was on cloud 9 when I was just straight up on the Jaeger, but then once I started drinking more, and then I felt like really, really throwing up. Went upstairs, laid down. Apparently, well, obviously passed out. And
obviously,
if you guys, well, obviously Josh has no idea what I'm talking about because he didn't go to prom. But if anybody else...
Sorry, I forgot,
Anybody else out there went to prom, which is probably 95% of the community, besides Josh.
Oh, so I'm so large I make up 5% of the community over here.
Yes. No,
I have my own fucking area code.
You're probably 0.5, and then other people that just didn't go to. Like the people.
So I'm like the only person in the world who hasn't gone to prom.
No, 5% of our community, not the community. I mean, we have what? We were talking about earlier, we have like 65 to 70 people that liked our page so far. Somewhere around the lines. I mean, if you figure 95% of that is only like 4 people, so
those 4 people, I completely sympathize with you. And if you are as happy as I am, I give just round of applause.
Exactly my point. So you're not that far off of the 3%.
So now I'm 3%. I've apparently lost enough weight to be down to 3%.
Yes. Back to my story.
Yeah.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. If you all know, I don't know if everybody had it for their schools, but they gave away prom pants that said prom 2004.
Were they like sweatpants?
No, they were like pajama pants.
Really?
And they were like plaid pajama pants on the ass. They would say prom 05 or prom 04 or prom of this, whatever.
And they wonder why fucking teen pregnancy is so
Yeah.
high. Like, where did you go? And mind you, you have a very nice ass.
And we're getting into that process of why prom pants are bad. So,
bad prom
yeah,
pants.
so I'm apparently passed out. Someone comes to check on me, and mind me, at my girlfriend at the time, it wasn't her. It was my friend, guy friend, let's say that. Comes up, tries to see how I'm doing. Apparently,
in your Jaeger state.
in my drunken Jaeger stupor, apparently I'm horny at the time, too, also.
Apparently. I mean,
Yeah.
were you pitching a 10 or not?
It's been 10 years. How do I remember? I was drunk. I don't even remember passing out, so how am I going to remember?
What was the likelihood you were erect?
Not much until after. Probably.
It's just a weird question.
Yeah. It's a weird question to ask a man.
What were you doing on this
Yeah.
night?
No, okay.
Were you aroused?
He comes in checking on me. First thing I do, apparently, is grab for his junk, thinking it's my girlfriend at the time. Like, come on the bed. Like, come with me in the bed. We'll do
I
this.
will drag you
Yeah.
by your
So, I mean,
genitalia.
I try to grab for his junk, and apparently, well, obviously, he backed off. I mean, I would do the same. But,
I would hope so.
yeah. And
Still like,
and
fuck it, we're young.
to me, that's the end of the story for that part. And then, after that, I wake up the next morning, and...
Have to hear all about it.
Yeah, I hear
You
all about
grabbed
it.
my
Yeah.
junk, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Who? Alright. Everybody's wearing prom pants. When you're drunk and someone's come to look on you, you think it's going to be that person that you want it to be. And then we're all wearing the same pants. So, I mean, like...
If that's the case, right there, that's like question number one.
Yeah.
Who is this? Obviously, we're all wearing the same pants.
But in your mind, when you're drunk, you don't think of that. You just
You're
think
right.
of, this is my person I want to feel. Like,
And, and you didn't notice that there was hardware?
I don't know if I got a full grasp at all.
Did you?
I don't know if
enjoy it?
I was getting towards that, and then I don't know what happened. Nobody told me anything. I don't know if I got a full on clinch, or like he just, like I went and he backed up, or if he kind of squeezed out of my grasp. I don't know what happened.
So, if good rules to live by, I'm never
Yeah.
going to wake you up in sweatpants.
And
Or
don't
prom
wear
pants.
05 prom pants.
Fuck, I'm fresh out of those.
And you'll be fine. I mean, if you're wearing like shorts or like anything else, you're fine. Prom pants.
So just prom pants are a no-go.
Prom pants are no go. Yeah.
So I can't wake you up in prom pants. Otherwise, I
know,
face repercussions.
You've woken me up in other situations.
So there
There's
was.
been plenty of situations where I wake up to Josh cuddling and not know what the fuck is going on.
If you so this is one of those instances. Matt just started dating my sister, and she was living at my parents' house at the time, and I of course was as well. And he was sleeping in her bed, and she comes out, and I was like, well, what's going on? And she's like, oh, well, Matt's here. And I was like, really? Where? Just kind of like, because I didn't see him. I was like, okay, I just met the dude, and it was like, okay, well, I didn't know anything about him. I was like, do I have to kick his ass? What? And she's like, well, he's in my bed. And I'm like, oh, those are the wrong words to say. And, by this point, we were pretty cool. And,
mind you, this isn't the first or last time he's done
no,
this.
not in the least. I'm extremely comfortable with my sexuality.
I think it's just me.
It's something about you. You're like fucking ripped. Just chiseled
I
from
be
angels.
Your spoon to your fork.
So I decided I was like, oh. She's like, well, I've been trying to wake him up, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go spoon with him. So I
Was it
kind
the
of.
same night I was sitting outside of your house, drunk as hell?
No,
Okay.
that was another night.
Okay.
It might have been. I don't know. I wasn't there for that. I didn't spoon with you then. But I kind of like cuddled up, and I was the little spoon, and all of a sudden I feel an arm come around me, and it was like, oh, game's on. And then it was just kind of like, you're "You're not Dana."
Yeah.
Just like, where the...
There's a lot more here than...
And then he just went with it. It was like, okay, this is cool. And then the laughing ensued, and I got kind of scared.
I'm okay with this.
No, the night... I don't remember the night you passed out in the front yard.
I don't think you were here.
Probably not.
I'm pretty... to be honest, I don't remember what night that was.
Oh, do tell, though.
I'm pretty sure it was when Robin and Kyle were over at one point in time.
Okay.
Back when they were, like, hanging out with us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, I think I just drank a lot.
Well, you do that every night.
I mean, we weren't... Not every day. Maybe not good drunk. You're making me feel like I'm a horrible person right now.
No, just a borderline alcoholic. The first step is admitting it.
I admit that
this is AA, this is Matt. Hi, Matt.
That's how I feel about that.
Anyway, continue. You drank a lot.
Yeah, I drank a lot. It's one of those nights where you feel like you want to drink a lot. It doesn't happen often. It's one of those nights where you feel like... I don't know about you guys, but...
What do I gotta lose?
Yeah, it's one of those nights where you're like, I feel like getting pissed drunk. Fuck it. And it doesn't happen often. It's like one of those 4, 5, 6 months type of things, and then you're good. But to be honest, from what I remember, I drank a lot of beer, went to go to sleep, couldn't get comfortable, so I laid on the floor. Sometimes, I don't know if everybody else is the same way.
No, I agree with you 100%. If you're not comfortable and the floor is the next best option, it's cold.
It's cold.
It's supportive. Yeah. And it kind of wants to swaddle you.
Yeah, you want to lay flat, and you want to be cocooned. It does its own way of cocooning.
Right, it is stupid. A very, very horizontal means of spooning you.
And I remember...
And hold on, let's be honest here. Who doesn't like to be spooned or spooning?
Apparently, we both do. Because last conversation,
So, yes.
I remember getting up. Floor's not doing it. I go outside for some godforsaken reason. It's probably about 4 in the morning. I'm sitting on their front steps and just spinning like a motherfucker. I'm like, I need to walk around. Maybe that'll kind of get my blood flowing. And that was right there is what made me realize that I'm too drunk to realize what I'm doing. Because getting my blood flowing would just make me more drunk. So I'm like walking around, I'm pacing back
doing
and forth.
Fucking calisthenics. Like those little arm twirls you haven't done since elementary school. We're going backwards, guys. Here's the big challenge.
I'm thinking pacing back and forth will sober me up. So I start pacing back and forth, and I'm like, this is not working. So I just sit at the end of the driveway. And I eventually lay there, look at the stars. I'd say for about 20 minutes. And
you were drunk. How does...
drunk is not the way to say it.
You were faced.
Yeah, I was really wasted.
You were chocolate wasted.
Yeah, I was chocolate wasted.
You were one of those, what's the word for those girls that are, oh my god, Valley Girls.
Valley Girls, yeah.
The Valley Girl chocolate wasted, like, oh my god, I lost my shoes.
The wasted Valley Girls. But I know.
Oh my god, look at the stars. Continue. You were looking at the stars.
My mind was probably in that area right there. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, there's the stars in the sky. And then I passed out. And I woke up at the end of the driveway, and it's daylight. I'm thinking to myself, fuck. What time is it? I know I left to go out there around 3, and then went back inside, and I see it's 6:45. Like, I slept at the end of the driveway for 3 hours almost.
I can picture a cop driving by and just kind of like the whole little light thing of,
yeah.
I'll check on him in about 45 minutes. He looks like he's breathing, so let's let him be. He looks like he's comfortable.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Or like the people that had sex in your middle of your house.
Oh, bad.
That was the most random thing ever.
We go out front for a cigarette, and, just out of nowhere, there's 2 people in the yard. And it's like, Why? First off, why are there people in the yard?
At 1:30 in the morning.
Right. I mean, it's...
Well, yeah, 1:30 in the morning. It's not like it was at 8 o'clock at night. It'd be worse if it was 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
But I mean, 1:30 in the morning, you're walking outside. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't very nice out either.
Mm-mm.
It was like this. It's like...
Right, it was
like
cold.
October.
And, it's like, why? First off, why are these people in my yard?
Why are they laying in my yard?
Yeah.
That's when it went to that.
It's
Why are
like,
they laying in my yard?
Okay. And then all of a sudden, just dude kind of gets up and pulls up his pants, and it's like, hold on. I'm kind of... Because we didn't see the chick first.
Yeah.
It was like, were you just fucking aerating my yard with your penis?
Shitting?
I'm confused, man. Like, you... And he bolts. Just takes off. It's like, okay.
And you see her get up and kind of wiggle her way up, wiggling her pants up. I'm like, they were just having sex in your front yard. Like, no joke, 25 to 35 feet away from us.
Like, why my yard? Is it...
It's prime real estate is fucking right now.
Dude, that should be like, if we ever sell the house, like, that's going to be the prime deal. Is like, this front yard is good for getting
sale.
on.
Good fucking yard. Quote unquote.
It's a nice fucking yard.
It's one of those, don't want to double on.
But that was the thing. There were people having sexual intercourse in front of my house in my grass. And, I applaud them on their exhibitionalism? On their...
executionism?
No, just...
Execution.
For being exhibitionists.
For being badasses.
Just... So, you know what? If you were the people that were getting it on in my front yard right around October...
if you're friends with us on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, more power to you. Keep going at it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, that sounds fun. I may have to try that sometime.
We haven't seen you guys since, so...
Yeah, just drop by sometime.
Must not have been that great.
Hey, you never know. I mean, it could have been that good. It's like, dude's got a bolt. He may have a bun in the oven. My yard could have been the sole proprietor of a baby.
Thinking about it. Yeah.
And you know what? That makes me feel good. Because, I mow over that spot every once in a while, and I think right here, there was conception. Yeah. There was a baby that came out of this spot.
Like, he probably pulled out and left a few in her and then dropped about 10 million of them down on your grass. And you're going over that with a lawnmower every day thinking, hey, there's 10 million things of semen I just cut with this grass.
And you know what? It warms my heart. It really does.
And knowing that,
I really wish that was one of those stories, and a lot of people, they'll listen to a lot of these outlandish stories like, that didn't fucking happen. Like,
no, there's plenty of people that were witness to this.
There was quite a few people.
There was at least 5 people, because we all went out to have a cigarette break. This is when I was kind of smoking on and off, so I went out with them.
It's just
if I could remember, there's at least 5 people that saw this happen.
And you know what? I wish I could make a lot of these stories up. And once again, one of the more outlandish stories, I had a good friend of mine. He called me up one day, and once again, I really do wish I could make this story up, just because it'd be like, did that really happen? No, but it'd be a really funny story if it did. But I think the fact that it did happen makes it a little bit better. Is that I got this phone call, and my buddy goes, hey, do you want to make 50 grand? And I'm like...
hey, it's a bear shit in the woods.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, how? And that's my first question. Like, 50 grand isn't, that's not something that's handed out.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, all you have to do is marry this German girl. And I'm
all you had to do was forcefully marry this German girl so she could be in the state.
And I'm sitting there like, for 50 grand? He goes, well, it's 100 grand, but I'm taking half.
Like, well, motherfucker, no.
I'm getting married. Hold on now. And, so I'm confused. And I hung up on him like at least 3 or 4 times to make sure that this was really happening. And, yeah, all you have to do is marry this German girl. She wants her citizenship. She just wants to get married. And, I'm kind of sitting there debating it like, man, 50 grand, that can pay for a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Right, I mean, that's a nice car. That's a solid down payment. I mean, you just can't walk up to a dealer with 50 grand and be like, I want a car.
You'd be surprised.
I did find out that according to a source that I heard from, that the legal amount that you were allowed to carry is basically $900 or $9,000, $9,999. You cannot carry more than $10,000 on your person.
Floyd Mayweather's fucked then, because he carries $1 million.
He's Floyd Mayweather. You know what? I'm not going to ask him.
He can knock my house out.
If that is true,
seconds.
then so be it. If not, then I just sound like an idiot, and I'm completely fine with that. But yeah, he goes, yeah, you want to make $50,000? I'm like, well, all I have to do is marry this German girl, right? And he goes, yeah. And so I started asking around, like, hey, should I marry this German girl for $50,000? And these people are like, are you fucking high? Well, at this point,
it's $50,000.
Yeah,
Come on.
They can buy a lot of stuff. And they're like, no, don't do it. And you know,
you don't
at
have
the
to
time,
be with them.
And that's the thing. That's the beauty of a prenuptial agreement, is that it's like, ha, gone.
I mean, you only have to be with them for, what, 2 years, I think?
I don't know.
I remember hearing stuff about people talking about doing this whole moving in and getting married and stuff like that with foreigners and getting a green card. It's like a 2-year thing. Like, you could get divorced after so long. But, I mean, you have to obviously know things about the people.
Right.
Like, we got divorced because we wanted to get divorced, not because they just wanted to be in this city, be in this country and then got divorced.
No, but that's the beauty of being Irish, is that you can just fucking lie. But no, that was the most confusing phone call I'd ever gotten, and like I said, I started asking around, and it was like, okay, you know, this is probably a bad idea. I called my buddy up. I was like, dude, I'm gonna have to turn down your offer. And then I come to find out that how he met or found out about this lovely woman was through his mother.
Did you ever meet her?
No, never did.
Okay.
He found out about this woman through his mom, who was playing a game with her friend on her phone, who knew this lady.
Random as hell.
Yeah, who wanted her citizenship. That's all she wanted. She wanted to marry a U.S. citizen to get her U.S. citizenship. Come to find out, she was like 65.
The lady was 65.
Yeah, she was like 65 years old, man.
And you're 21 now, so how long ago was this conversation?
I was probably 19.
How is that even legal?
But it's true love. It really is.
Like, how is, like, okay, I mean, in my eyes, if they see a 19-year-old marrying what you say was a 65 or 60-year-old...
I really don't know how old she was. I mean, to be honest, she could have been fucking 70 years old for all I know. All I know is that it seemed to be legitimate, but at the same time...
It wasn't legitimate.
I've seen Hostel, and...
Well, that's overseas. I mean, we're here. They're coming to you.
But exactly, dude. I don't want a mobile hostel happening. And,
I don't want to.
Well, that actually makes no sense, because a hostel is basically a hotel for poor people. But I almost burned my beard with a lighter. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to have to turn it down. And then again, he told me, he's like, well...
I'm going to have to turn it down.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, it's not like this job opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm going to have to turn this down. I mean,
but,
I'd be like, dude, fuck, no.
You know what? I did. I thought about it for a while. It was the weirdest phone call I've ever gotten, and then we come to find out she was like 60-something years old or something like that. She was older, and he's like, well, she could just cook for you. I'm like, I do love me some German cooking. You know, my grandmother was German, and she'd made some awesome food. But at the same time, no! You know, I'm having this angel-devil moment going on in my head, and it's just
I
like...
would just have devil being like, shut the fuck up and say no already.
Right, but no, $50,000, and then I started thinking about
Well,
it, like, you're going to take half for doing what? Setting me up with this broad?
Take a quarter, maybe. Take 25 and give me
Shit,
75.
I'll give you $5,000.
Yeah.
I will give you $5,000 gladly if I walk away with $95,000.
Like, see, that might sweeten the pot a little more.
Right.
95, I might think about it a little more.
Now I can just outright buy a really shitty house. But, once again, I wish that was a story that I could make up. Just like one of those things, like I could write it in a book, but no, that's something that had to happen. I don't know why. Do I believe in, you know, the higher beings, you know, shining their everlasting light upon me, and everything happens for a reason? Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely...
I believe that.
Hey, and that's one person's opinion. I'm not entirely religious, but if everything does happen for a reason, then guess what? I didn't get married to a German lady.
That's why we're all different. Everybody has their own opinion.
Right, and opinions are like assholes, and, well, you know what? They all make shit.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that was the strangest phone call I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to this point in this conversation. I really don't.
It's that tangents.
Yeah. So back to well,
We can't transition that fast. I mean, we were just talking about getting married to a German chick, 65-year-old German chick, and we're gonna go back on to like Halloween movies.
Yeah, fucking Halloween movies, man. We were just talking about Hostel. Well, that's more of a fucking that's more
a
of a
suspense movie.
I'm more excited for Hunger Games Mockingjay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, for jumping to conclusions to like that, I mean, I'm going back to the whole being married to a 65-year-old lady. I mean,
well, it seems like you're not opposed.
Yeah, I mean, the money, everybody's got a price. Some people say that. I mean, obviously, some things do have a price, some things and don't. But I mean,
it looks shady on paperwork.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you could easily just go to jail for that.
Yeah, and I guess that was part of the reason why I didn't.
Yeah. It was really weighing on my soul. Jail, really good German food. Jail, really good German food. I mean, like, I don't know where to go from there.
Do I want to be locked up and not have German food, but she gets to stay here? Or do I want to have German food? I really want to have German food. Yeah.
German food.
Oh,
German food.
man. And when my cousins did come over from Germany to visit.
That was fun.
And the chocolate they bring was awesome.
So they're supposed to send stuff back to me, and they haven't yet.
Katarina, if you're listening...
Yeah, we have German descent out there that's part of this family, talking about bringing us food and bringing us candy. I've been waiting the whole year. You guys have been gone for a year. Where's my aerated caramel truffle thingies you guys got?
That stuff is so awesome. And that's what makes me want to travel, is that, you get to experience all walks of life and whatnot, but at the same time, the cultures themselves... not just the different people and the different stories, but at the same time, just the culture. In Germany, a lot of things are still done, homegrown. Outside of major cities, fast food changes when you leave the country. Apparently, from what I hear of people who have traveled out of the country is that, Coca-Cola doesn't taste the same over there as it does over here. And, hey... You know what?
Makes sense. Why wouldn't it? I mean, it's just a certain way they do stuff.
Then you have still these third world countries. That TV show, The Long Way Around and The Long Way Down.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Is that you do? It was Ewan McGregor and what was the other guy's name?
I don't remember. He wasn't famous, so I don't remember.
Well, he was in a couple movies, but
yeah.
I
remember Ewan McGregor because he's famous.
He was in fucking Star Wars.
And other things.
He was in fucking Star Wars.
Big Fish, one of my other favorite, Ewan McGregor movies.
He was in fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, he was Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So,
but they went on a motorcycle trip around the world. They started. Was it in London?
Somewhere around there. I don't know specifically.
London or Scotland? I think it was London.
I'm not specific.
But they went from London, basically backwards around the world, and experienced all these things on a motorcycle. And to me, that is like the ultimate dream, is to actually go around the world and travel like that.
Also the scariest thing.
Well, at that point, it comes with the territory.
Yeah,
so,
if you figure you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and you have to learn.
Right. I mean, fuck, you got a camera crew, so at least they can record it, and either the mob or the police are going to have the evidence. But,
right.
With that in mind, is that they were able to experience all this cultural diversity and see, these third world countries that, people just kind of shun. And another coworker of mine, he explained to me that when he went to Poland, he went there with,
Shit's different overseas.
Yeah.
Shit's totally different.
I think he said he went there with like $500. And it was, to them, a large sum of money, $500 US. Yeah. And he was telling me what he was able to pick up. And it amazes me, because we look at the face of a dollar and it's like, I can probably buy in Arizona if I can find 7 more cents.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things I hate about, 99 cents, then taxes. You need $1.10. I mean, if you advertise it for $1.10.
Right.
Just add the taxes, motherfuckers.
But
come on.
that was the thing, is that, even across Europe, is that, generally, they are still very wholesome people. And you find it in the U.S. as well. I'm not saying that, the United States doesn't have its good points. And there's bad apples in every bunch. But when you're able to travel like that and get to see all these walks of life, these people that still use cattle for not just milk and beef, is that they use them to use, haul
everyday
things.
life.
Right. I mean, they are tools.
They
don't
just like hoard them into thousands of things just so we could make.
Right. We don't grind them up with pork and all this other, car parts to make our McDonald's burgers.
Yeah.
Is that they're still used for farming.
Yeah.
And to me, that it amazes me because when I traveled a lot when I was younger, across the U.S., coast to coast, and in Iowa, oddly enough, the next fucking state over.
Yeah, not too far from where we're at.
Right, 4-hour drive. Outside of this little sleepy town called Independence, there's Amish country.
Yeah.
And to me, the Amish, is as much of a bad rap as they get. They're still and obviously a self-sufficient community.
Obviously.
But, the way that they live, and, there's Amish people with trucks. There's Amish people with electricity.
See, the thing with Amish people, they're allowed to have things if they move into an area that thing is already there.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, like, if they move into a house that has no electricity, they don't have electricity. If they move into a house that has electricity and a car, they could use that. That's like one of the rules.
Shit, I'd like to move into a house that has a car.
Yeah. I mean, like, they're apparently not supposed to be able to use motorized vehicles, but if it's in the Amish community, as far as I've heard, if something that they buy that already has this there, they're allowed to use it. Right.
Well, that's the thing is that, it still is very much the horse and buggy community.
Yeah.
And, you go outside of this little town and all of a sudden there's no power lines and you're kind of looking around like, oh, that's it's not something you notice.
There's a lot of horse shit with no power.
Yeah, right. And there's a lot of people that walk. And we're talking miles.
Nobody walks anymore.
Right. We're all out of shape.
I mean, I don't want to walk down the street, go to 7-Eleven, and just get a drink.
No, because...
I'll get in my car.
Yeah, exactly.
I spent $300 on my car. Why not drive it?
Right. $300 on your car. Fuck you. I'm buying your car from you for $5.
A month.
Oh. But at any rate, we went to Amish country. Now, mind you, there's a lot of cats. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. But you generally have to ask to touch the cats. That's just from what I've learned. And I had a cousin who he asked to chase a chicken, and the guy said, "Hell, if you can catch it, you can have it." Obviously, it's a lot harder to chase and catch a chicken than people expect. Yeah. But we walked into this little convenience store. Now, these are separated, like I said, beyond miles. And they're these little clusters of shops. Some of them are homes and shops, with them around. But we walked in, and it was kind of like their grocery store. Okay. And they had the luxuries. They had canned soda, and I'm talking pop. They had fucking Faygo.
They're light-ass fucking Amishes.
Right. But,
They weren't full-blown Amish.
Hey.
Apparently.
But, that's how they made their living, is they sold a lot of things. And they had a chocolate bar. Of course, you get me talking about chocolate bar.
You gave me a hot bother about chocolate.
God, chocolate.
This whole story was leading up to you talking about chocolate.
Fuck yeah. I swear to God, this thing had to be about 2.5, 3 feet long by about maybe 1.5 inches high. And, thank you, it was $14 or something like that. It wasn't much, and the thing weighed like 11 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, holy shit. And,
diabetes in a bag.
In a bag, dude. This thing was just sold by the ton. And they're also very joking people. And they had, up by the register, a $5 bill on the floor. But it was polyed over. So it was part of the floor, and you get all these people who come to Amish. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, oh, look, a 5. And I'm kind of pulling the Family Guy. Ooh, look, a piece of candy. Yeah. I'm sitting there, and it took me like 3 or 4 tries of trying to scrape this fucking thing up to be like, shit, it's embedded in the floor. Those bastards.
And then everybody's looking at you like,
yeah, like you are not the brightest bulb because you just keep trying. It's just like you walk into the wall once, you just can't stop.
It's like that door. Hey, that door is locked.
Check it anyway.
Yeah, those are people that like, hey, sorry, you check the door? Yeah, it's locked. All right. and that person goes over and checks the locked door. I'm like, you don't think I was telling the truth? Right. You don't think I was like, hey, the door's locked. Check it just in case it's not locked anymore.
Right. But, like I said, is that, they're very joking people, and their furniture is expensive. It's all
handmade.
It's all handcrafted. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, a lot of the stuff.
Have you seen those Amish, not gas, but electric stove things they have? Like, they look like fireplaces, but they're made by the Amish. They're like $350.
At the minimum.
Yeah.
But, once again, they are very, very well crafted. They're absolutely beautiful.
They put their heart and soul into it.
Right. It's how they make their living.
That's their living, yeah.
But, and at the same time, when I went to go, I bought like a couple cans of soda and some wasabi peas. Dude, they had them, and it was for like a softball size thing of wasabi peas was like 25 cents.
And why the hell are the Amish make like?
Hey, if you got them, sell them.
Hey, all right.
But it was weird.
They got them Chinese wasabis, the Chinese Amish.
But this guy up at the register, and once again, it was a very old timey register. I shit you not.
And ching.
Kind of. It wasn't that old.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't that old, but. He was just kind of blowing through everybody, thank you very much, have a nice day, hope you enjoy it. And it seemed very played out, very almost routine. And there was the point, I had $5, I think my total came out to be like $1.20 tops.
Yeah, they don't care about money, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's how they make their living.
But I mean, they care about being fruitful to the community.
They care about living off what they have.
Mm-hmm.
And, to me, $5 is $5. At this point, I can't buy a pack of cigarettes for $5.
You can't buy a pack of cigarettes for almost $10 in some instances.
Yeah, you go to the city of Chicago. If you're not from Chicago, I've paid $12 for a pack of cigarettes. Please, for the love of God, never buy cigarettes in Cook County. Or gas.
Crook County.
Crook County. But... I had $5, and, he starts going for the change, and as he hands me my change, I was taken back, to say the least, and I kind of looked at it, and I was like, I couldn't take it, because this guy has, done this for years, the same routine of, here's your change, have a nice day, and I looked at him, and I was like, just keep the change, I'm not worried about it, because I came here with more than $5,
yeah.
And to see his attitude change was... memorable, to say the least. I mean, it was absolutely astounding to watch his face go from, that very same routine of, kind of give that smile and, make sure that they do have a nice day, to actually be genuine.
Yeah, be feeling like, you do something for me, I do something for you.
Right, and I mean...
We're cool now.
Right, and just, he actually, I put the change on the counter, I said, I'm not worried about it. I said, it's yours. And he was extremely taken back, and he looked at me with this genuine shock, and he goes, "Thank you very much. You enjoy the rest of your day." And from then on, as I was kind of walking out, because there was a line behind me, you saw all these people, and he was happier than a pig in shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I made a solid $5 off of this fucking city slicker guy coming in and buying some bullshit, and it helped me realize that, there are bigger things than money. Simple things that not a lot of... that everybody does. They take for granted. We have clean water. You expect to walk up to the faucet every day, turn it on, and be like, oh, look, there's running water. And the day you don't, you're like, son of a bitch, I smell like ass.
First world problems.
Exactly. And to me, it was eye-opening. And, the Amish, to most Americans, that live in the United States... that have not been to Amish country, the Amish are the closest thing to a third world country you're going to get.
Yeah,
they're all over.
To be honest, yeah.
But at the same time, once again, they are very, very humble people, and definitely interesting to talk to. I mean, they got a lot to say.
They do have some stories.
But, like I said, if you travel and you do have that opportunity to go out and explore the world, and, like how my cousins came over, and it was my one cousin, Katerina, and her friend, Christine, and they came over, and now Katerina had been here before, but her friend hadn't, and that was the first time she'd seen a 50-foot or 53-foot trailer, and that's semi to us. That's kind of one of those things. You're like, I'm stuck behind this motherfucker on the highway, and she was looking at it like, oh my god, that is fucking huge. And it's because they don't have things like that. Things in, just things like that over in Europe. Germany, to them. They don't have that back home. And to them, it was like, wow, this monstrosity is driving down the road. How is this even remotely safe? And, other small things. And it really does. It opens your eyes that there are bigger things than that we take for granted. They have the nice things like technology. And, hold on. We're reading something real quick. But like I said, they do. They have a lot of the things, that we do. Like I said, technology. Or if I didn't say that, I don't know. And they use it just as much as we do, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of the things, like...
America.
Yeah, that America does.
America does.
And I guess that's what makes us,
different from everything else.
Right. Well, Matt just paused this so he could pee, so I'm just going to mindlessly ramble on while he urinates as he begins his flow. I feel like rooting you on, big fella.
Calm down. What time is it?
What time is it? It is 1:30. 1:03,
yeah,
sorry.
What time are we on our clock?
We're about $1.30.
So, give me 45 seconds. I'll be back.
45 seconds?
Well, what time is it?
Well, but going back to traveling, is that it's always been a dream, like I said, to travel. And when I was younger, my family, we went on a train ride down to Arizona. Absolutely wonderful. And being able to do that when you were younger, it definitely instills some lifelong values. Would that be the right thing to say?
Yeah, I mean, like, when you learn about how other things work, even just in our own, like, in the U.S., each state has its own different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been to Arizona multiple times. You go down there, I'll say it, story. First time going to Arizona, we went down. It was me and my dad and my stepmom and at the time my little brother, because I don't even remember if my sister was born yet. But we went down there for like Thanksgiving / Christmas. It was like a 2-year thing, 2-week thing.
2-year thing?
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's awfully fucking long.
Yeah. And we went down there for like 2 weeks.
It's not a vacation.
Yeah. And went down there. We went to what I call a swap meet, but it's
I can't think of it.
Swap-orama type thing, like
a flea market.
Flea market, there you go, flea market. What they have a flea market down there. So we're going down there. We're in short shirts, shorts.
Who wears short shorts? I wear short shorts.
We're down there, short shirt, short jeans, shorts, whatever. And everybody else down there is wearing pants, long sleeve shirts, ponchos.
Oh no, and I agree.
Yeah, and we're down there, and it's December, end of November, December, and we're walking around,
sweating your fucking ass off.
Yeah, and we're down there. It's probably a good 75, maybe.
Shit, I sweat when it's like 30.
So we're down there, and we're looking up stuff around, like buying stuff, and then we get to this one place, and the one person looked at us. Like, really confused. I'm thinking to myself, I was probably about maybe 12 at the time. Maybe even younger. They look super confused, and I'm like thinking to myself, why do they look like we're fucking chickens with their heads cut off right now? And the person goes, you're not from around here, are you? And we're like, no.
We'll give it away.
We'll give it away. They're like, we're from Chicago. I'm like, oh, okay.
You're damn near northern folk.
Yeah, we're wearing shorts.
Everybody outside of the Midwest talks with a southern accent to most people from the Midwest.
So we're down there with, like I said, shorts. Like, my dad's wearing a tank top and shorts. I'm wearing a t-shirt, shorts. My stepmom's wearing probably a t-shirt and shorts. And they're down there with ponchos and pants on. And they're like, you're not from around here, are you? I'm like, no, yeah, we're from Chicago. It's like, oh, that makes sense. We're like, why? Like, because you guys are wearing shorts and t-shirts. We're wearing ponchos and jeans. Like, this is cold to us. I'm like, 75 degrees is cold to you? What the fuck? Like, man, like...
And that, when we went, I don't remember what time, or what part of the year it was, what season, but it was fucking hot. I want to say it was the summer. I'm not sure. It had to be the summer. But,
Like, I've been in summer in Oklahoma.
oh, it's hot.
It's hot. I mean, it's better than out here because it's not so humid.
It's a dry heat, yeah.
Yeah.
But, once again, traveling to Oklahoma, yeah, it's fucking hot in the summer.
Yeah.
But Arizona, we went on a pontoon ride through Glen Canyon. And what we call hot and then what they call hot, apparently that wasn't hot, but I felt like I was an ant under a microscope,
Yeah.
just being fried by UV rays.
Help me!
And it was weird because there was 2 waterfalls through this canyon, and you pulled up to one in the pontoon, and it was roasting hot, and then the dude backed up the pontoon, rolled it up to another spot, and it was fucking ice cold. And it was like, wow, that's weird. He's like, yeah, well, that water comes out of the rocks, and that one comes over, and it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. You got fucking hell's rays raining down upon this water, and this one comes from beautiful land.
Yeah.
Once
one
again,
comes from Satan's asshole. One comes from a.
it's 43 degrees outside, and we're sitting here in basically light pants and a hoodie, and slight breeze. It's a nice night, but to us that polar vortex. I don't know if you complained when it was 40 below.
Who doesn't?
I was just fucking fine.
Oh, fuck that. Okay, cold, I'm okay with. It's the snow that bothers me because I can't have fun with my car. I hate driving the snow.
If my advice to you, steal some lunch trays, from your local school, and if you have a front-wheel drive car and you've never heard of doing this, put some lunch trays, just back over them over your rear tires, rip your e-brake, and drive around. You'll know what it's like to drive a rear-wheel drive car in the snow. It's a lot of fun, and if you have a rear-wheel drive car, then you can sympathize with me.
The only real-wheel drive car I've had in the wintertime was my 9-to-1 Mustang, and I drove it in the partial snow once and said, I'm never fucking doing this again because I'm going to die. And that was the last time I drove my car in the snow. And then I got a truck. So I said, okay, I'm cool.
I drive an S10.
Well, I mean, I had a 94 Ford F-150. I mean, yeah.
Didn't you say it was the Lightning?
It's the flare side, which was like this. Well, I mean, they had the Lightnings around that year, but it was
a poor boy.
Yeah, I had the 5.0 truck, which was like kind of fast, but it wasn't the supercharged Lightning thing.
No, but I mean, 40 below to us, yeah, that's Chicago weather, to say the least.
I mean, 40 below, that's like fucking Alaska weather. I mean, if it's 40 below out by us, I mean, that means we're fucked.
I was fine.
20 below is okay.
20, and when I was in Oklahoma, they had a snowstorm. I can't say a snowstorm. It was a fucking ice storm.
When I was in Oklahoma, I had an ice storm too. They closed down school for 4 days.
We were probably in the same ice storm.
They closed down school for 3 days.
When was
it? 2000 and I graduated in 05.
Same exact ice storm.
7?
Yeah.
2006, 7, yeah.
Right there. Put it right there. We were in the exact same ice storm. So you know what it was like. There was all that snow that compacted into ice.
Yeah.
And, to people up here, it's weird not to see snowplows.
Yeah.
And
it had sand plows.
Yeah, I mean, there was guys driving, and I was in rural Oklahoma. And
we were only probably 25, 30 fucking miles away from each other, to be honest.
God, I feel so close to you.
I was in Okmulgee, you were in...
Manford.
Manford, which is, I pretty much, from what I remember, it's around 45 minutes between those two areas.
I've never felt closer to you, except when we
besides when we spooned and then we were standing with each other.
But yeah, I mean, all that snow compacted into ice, and they don't have snowplows down there.
No, like I said, they would throw sand down.
Right.
That was their salt.
And it made me laugh because my uncle and my cousins and my aunt from California came out. We were celebrating Christmas that year down in Oklahoma. And my cousin from California, he that was like the first time, from my understanding, that he'd actually been in like the cold.
Yeah.
And could remember, because I remember him coming up here, when we were younger during Christmas, but this was cold. And it was like 20 below, and I was, still walking to my uncle's garage to go grab a soda, and I was in shorts and shoes. And it's just like, yeah, that breeze between the knees, yeah, I mean, your unders turn into overs real quick, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you man up, you're from the Midwest. And my cousin looks like the kid from A Christmas Story, kind of like
He's
knocked
stuck
out.
up.
I was chucking snowballs at him. I was an asshole.
I mean, I remember when I was down there, like, talking about, oh, man, I'm used to this. And most of the guys that were in my school were from, like, Alabama and Arizona and Oklahoma, and they didn't see it often. And one of the guys, or actually three of the guys, were from Louisiana. I've never seen snow in their life.
And to us, it's weird.
To Oklahoma, when I went down there, that was their first snow/ice storm they had in like 13 years. Like full on ice storms.
And
like they had snow here and there, but we had like 6 inches.
Right.
And that's the cumulative of what they had the last 10 years.
Right. And it was it was a lot of snow that compacted into ice.
That's what I'm saying. They had a snowstorm that was like 6 inches, and then it started to melt.
It had to be more than that.
No, they had one big one.
Yeah.
And then it kind of started to melt, and then it had another one come on. And then it turned into an ice storm because it was just all that melted snow turned into melted ice, and they had 2-3 inches, not even joking, 2-3 inches
of solid ice
all over the place.
And it was funny to see these guys that didn't have trucks, kind of go up, and you know how the hills are in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they go up these hills, and they're kind of sliding down backwards, and they're like, ah! And you're like, yeah, you should be going that way. And I'll never forget my uncle, who is from California now. He did live in the Midwest. We were driving to the convenience store, which generally it's not a short trip.
Oh yeah, you're going to the town. That's what
exactly.
I'm going to the town. What do you need?
Because you're not coming back.
I'm not going to town for another 3-4 days.
Right.
If I don't have to go to town, I'm not going to town.
We were picking up stuff for breakfast for the next couple days, and my uncle, who was driving my mom's truck at the time, now it's a '99 Tahoe. He's driving along, and he's like, I remember there being parking islands somewhere in this park. Like, yeah, you just found them. I mean, you just drove over a curb. And, like I said, man, once you leave Illinois, I mean, people who have never left the state are baffled that there is no such thing as Pops outside of Illinois or Portillo's.
Yeah. And,
the people who aren't from Illinois that are listening are like, what the fuck is that? It is the greatest food you'll ever eat.
I had Pops earlier.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's like when you go out of state and you say you move, you don't realize how much you miss things until you're out of it.
Right.
And when you come back, it's one of those, all right, I have to go here, I have to go here, and I have to go here before I can go back.
Yeah.
Like
you are planning out your trip.
Yeah.
That's usually it takes you 5 minutes, and you're like, I have to do it. It is like a mission from God.
If I don't go here, it was a ruined vacation or ruined time to come back. I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
An instance, it's a funny instance. When I was in school in Oklahoma, we had snow, and we were all the guys, like I said, didn't see snow, all that stuff. And the ice parts, like, we're walking around, and I'm just heavy footing through stuff. And they're all tiptoeing through everything, like, oh, I'm gonna fall, like, all that shit. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm from the Midwest, I'm fucking deal with it all the time. You guys are fucking stupid pussies, don't know what they're fucking doing. And then, like, I take 2 steps, and I fall on this sheet of ice. And they're like, oh, yeah, the good old Midwest feet there, don't you got? I'm like, I just look at an idiot.
And that's the thing, you got like people that are like from Minnesota that listen to people from the Midwest, like the North, what we call the Grand North that isn't Canada. You got the people from the Minnesota and South Dakota. They
see worse than we do.
And they're sitting there like, that's fucking Monday.
They see worse than we do, that's for sure.
Right. Alrighty, well then, I guess that's going to be it for this one.
We've been, holy shit.
Yeah, that's an hour and 43 minutes. So we're gonna cut it off now, and hey, thanks for listening if you made it thus far, and,
that was a really abrupt way to stop.
Yeah, really.
But I mean, a minute, or an hour and 30
Get your times right, man. How many beers have you had?
Well, I got 2, 4, 6,
7 sitting here.
So Matt's 7 beers down.
Plus 4.
Yeah. So we're gonna cut this one out, and hey, if you like it, hit the like button. Listen to the next one. Thanks a lot.